Today in the crypto space, we see the market coming down for a bit of a dip. Bitcoin below that $52,000 mark, down approximately 2%, and Ethereum below that psychological $3,000 level, down also approximately 2%. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, are pretty much dipping down to lower levels. We have some nice retracements, but the question is, should we be buying at this level? Should we be waiting for a further continuation to the downside? In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator. But more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin that is looking pretty good, very, very strong today. And of course, that project is called Octaspace. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join that Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. And the best part is, guys, it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's continue. Let's see what's going on here. The market in general currently showing a bit of weakness, of course, based off of Bitcoin. We got to understand that Bitcoin could be just extending its range, right? If so far it's still around that level where it could get some support, stay above that zone. We'll take a look at the Bitcoin chart very, very soon, just to use it as a leading indicator. And then we'll take a look at today's project where we can, look at some of the details with regards to Octa. Today, Octa has been doing very, very well. Of course, it has been a bit of a sleeping price action in the last little while, not doing very much. However, that's usually when you see that calm before the storm scenario, and all of a sudden it starts to wake up. So I'm hoping that Octa continues with its strength despite the bearishness in the market currently, and then all of a sudden when Bitcoin gets its bounce, Octa might just fly. And that's exactly what usually happens. A sign of bullishness during this bearish condition could definitely be a sign that it's really going to take off when Bitcoin finds its bottom. All right, guys, let's continue here. We see Ethereum still okay. It is down approximately 2% alongside Bitcoin. However, the way things look, if it holds its current level of support, Ethereum looks like it wants to continue to the upside. In my opinion, ETH just got started. Really getting to a level at about 3,500, for me, that's where I would start looking for de-risking. Also, hitting this $3,000 psychological level obviously is going to cause a reaction, and that's what we're getting right now. And Bitcoin being frothy at about 52 gives the opportunity for altcoins to continue running. We need Bitcoin to hold its range. Guys, if your portfolio is heavy into those altcoins, we're rooting for Bitcoin to go sideways for the next little while. And we're rooting for Ethereum to go to about 35K. And in the meantime, we'll see a lot of altcoins run. Look at BNB looking pretty good, up approximately 5% for today. Definitely recovering from its previous low, which was all that FUD and all that, negativity that was basically all over BNB, all over Binance in general. And then all of a sudden now it's reclaiming its previous price action. Good stuff for BNB. Solana, still grinding to the downside. Yes, Solana did very well. Now it's at a $100 psychological level. The question is it going to hold up? Is it going to hold up? Are altcoins, built on the Solana network going to hold up? And that's something that we got to see here. So far, Solana still keeps on grinding to the downside. And until we find some secure bottoms, some indication that we're done with this dip, guys, there's no real reason to try to catch a falling knife at the current moment. So I'm going to be very, very patient. Let's continue here. What else do we have here? Cardano taking a dip, and the market is taking a dip. So there's no real reason for me to continue isolating, each individual coin, because market-wide, we're seeing a few dips. We see Polygon Matic down approximately 8%. That's a pretty good scenario. I do feel like some of these altcoins could be looking for a bit of relief in the short term, in the sense that to get that confirmation high where we see a lower high. A lot of them might be looking for that in the immediate short term, and so will Bitcoin. At the end of the day, know, I still feel like Bitcoin could come up for another little pop, right back up, get people, you know, a little bit confused, and then finally drop. And on that scenario, you can expect a lot of people to start entering more short positions, building on those shorts. Confirmation highs, lower highs are definitely very, very important, especially once you start seeing this negativity. We can see this market just take a bit of a dip, guys, and make sure you have some of that dry powder ready to go to deploy just in case. Uniswap still coming down, not really looking the greatest, to be honest, with that you know, rollover and that hang time. Leo token basically getting a huge dip, real drop right there. And that's the, you know, you take the, you know, the stairs up and the escalators straight down, or even the elevator in this case, straight down. And that's, you know, not really a good look. Caspa still grinding away there, but it is down 6%. The reality is, I like double-digit dips. You know, we're not really getting major double-digit dips here. We've seen optimism. Yes, it's down 11%, but let's be real here, guys. You know, ultimately in the last 7 days, you know, it's not really that big, right? Because it did grind up quite a bit. All it is a retracement within structure. H-bar still doing good, guys. It looks like a bull flag for that matter. You know, it could go sideways here, maybe Bart Simpson, but at least you know where you can put your invalidation right below that consolidation. If you're going long here, at least you know where you can stop yourself out. If you're going short, you know, we're looking for volume gaps below if there is any. And then, of course, you're going to make that plan based on horizontal support at lower levels, you know, to exit your shorts, because I don't think a dip is going to last too long here in this market. Obviously, the halving is around the corner. There's a lot of bullish sentiment. There's lots to be said here to suggest that people are going to be buying the dip. In fact, I will be looking for altcoin dips all day long, especially as we start coming down to lower levels. Let's continue here. We have 5% for Celestia Tia. I'm interested in building a position there. As long as we keep on falling, I'm going to keep my eye on that one. The graph, GRT, is holding steady. Yes, it got a nice bounce at a nice bullish scenario. Guys, I've been calling about the graph for so long here. And, you know, it's actually pretty cool to actually see it go sideways at least. You know, it is a downward sloping, but in comparison to the rest of the market, the graph right now is holding up pretty strong. It does look like a potential continuation pattern to the upside after this retracement here. So keep an eye on GRT. The graph, it looks poised to continue to the upside, but of course we got to wait for Bitcoin to find its bottom. Say is another one. Say I'm looking for a position to start accumulating, but the way things are looking right here, I'm expecting a break to lower levels. I'm not going to rush this, guys. We're going to be patient here and find really good entries. And if it doesn't happen, no big deal. We'll be hunting for those bottom entries on other projects. No big deal. I'm not going to be FOMOing into any price action and trying to catch a falling knife. I'm going to be very patient here. You're going to see how patient I am. Maker coming down, not really crazy about this lower low, you know, potential break of structure, or a change of structure for that matter, that we could be in a pivot point, you know, looking for a downwards momentum or downwards continuation. Not crazy about these that look right there. What else do we have? Starnet, what's going on here? Nothing really. Flatline, what's going on? BitGet token kind of flatlined as well, at least kind of going sideways. Flow dipping over. Helium looking a bit, you know, dippish. I'm not really crazy about this price action. Chili's still grinding though, you know, still within structure, making higher highs, higher lows. So we got to be patient on there. FET, the same thing, higher highs, higher lows. Continuation to the upside is possible as long as it holds its trend. We're okay. And ultimately, we're looking for a change of character in this structure to get that bit of a confirmation that we're rolling over. Still, you know, the price structure is still looking really good for a lot of them. Dips. KuCoin coming down and Blur coming down. Guys, Blur is interesting. It was running up a while back ago, a few weeks ago, running up really hard. And then if we get a good entry, I'm going to be buying for sure. 100% looking for entries. What else do we have here? Let's continue. CFX, you know, bottom of the range. I like that, but I would like to see horizontal support for sure, especially if we are at the top of the volume gap type of thing. I'm interested. Akash coming down 2%, breaking this little structure. This looks like a Bart Simpson in the play, right? It does look like a Bart Simpson around the corner, right? You know, it's sloping a little bit to the side here, but look how beautiful that is. Choppy price action, you know, nice consolidation, and then, you know, break to the downside. So let's see what's happening here in this market. We'll be following Bitcoin, guys. Feel free to join live tonight at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. We'll take a look at markets. We'll take a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin dominance, and any other projects that you're interested in. That is a great time and place to make those requests. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's begin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. What's going on here with Bitcoin? Bitcoin kind of going sideways. It's doing its thing. Let it do its thing. Don't rush it. However, the way the momentum is looking on the daily suggests that eventually we're going to get our rollover. We're going to actually come down with a bit of strength. And it's very possible. We do see market participation happening here. You know, it could be also, this market participation suggests that, you know, people could be exiting positions. People could also be accumulating. But the reality is we do have a bit of weakness down below that could get the price to lower levels. The question is, how low can we go? When is it going to happen? These are all questions that a lot of people are asking. Let's see if we can come up with some a little bit of detail here. You know, I think that, you know, looking at the daily is great, but at the current level, it's not going to really tell you much about this price action. If you stick in the daily, you're going to have to really zoom out. And I know my charts look a bit, you know, heavy. Let's call them heavy, a little bit creative. But the reality is it tells me a lot. You know, this painting tells me a lot. We got levels. The levels that I'm looking out for are right around here, very clearly based on volume. Right around here, which is about as low as about 32 more or less. I'm interested here because, again, more volume and more liquidity at these levels. And then absolute bearish price targets is all the way down here. I'm hoping that this breakout point and this beautiful back test never gets tested, but if it does, guys, I'm going to be prepared for that. I'm absolutely going to be prepared. But the way Bitcoin looks at the current moment, it's very unlikely that we do come down to that zone. Probability is that as low as I expect is probably a little bit of a fake out, breaking below this wedge, breaking below this trend that we have here, 1-2 touches, we come down, get a lot of people really bearish, trap them all up, and then get that bounce right off of this horizontal support. Regardless, I don't like making those type of predictions. I wait for momentum to give me the signal. Guys, I'm a momentum trader. I wait for momentum, signs of weakness or strength in momentum. And right now on the daily, it is very clear that we are seeing weakness in the momentum. Higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the RSI. We have horizontal resistance at 52K that was pretty much identified months ago here on the channel. Guys, I've been following Bitcoin and putting this red box in here for so long, and then hitting this and getting this rejection at this current moment is pretty good. This red box here, getting some nice support off of it and getting a bounce to the upside and continuation. All of this zone right here was a no trade zone for me. No trade zone for me. I got into altcoins, not Bitcoin. Bitcoin right here was the very, very risky spot. You can see the bearish divergence. You see the MACD a little bit confused. You know, are we making higher highs and higher lows? The MACD at the current moment, EMAs are looking for that cross. We got those pale green histogram bars that are forming, and one little red histogram bar. That's all I really need to get that confirmation that, guys, you know, we're breaking down to lower levels. The question is, should we be shorting at this current moment? On the daily, it looks like it's very possible that we could get into a short position. The 4 hours suggesting that we're almost oversold and we could potentially get a bit of a bounce. Upon that bounce, upon maybe another retracement, even a higher high, I would consider entering a short here on Bitcoin, because ultimately it's a lot of froth up here. There's a lot of individuals that are getting super bullish on altcoins, and if their capital is tied up in a scenario where the price action on Bitcoin is going sideways, there's no volatility, there's no gains to be made. People will be bored. People are starting to look for alternatives to Bitcoin to trade so they can make some capital, to make some gains, right? So the reality is, if we get a little pop to the upside, I wouldn't mind getting into a small short position and then taking a bit of profits all the way down here. Obviously, quick moves, I'm not convinced that this consolidation, this major consolidation that we got going on here on this time frame on the 4 hour, you can see a lot of peaks and valleys. This could end up being a bigger distribution. This could be a longer distribution than we expect, and then just a quick dip, and then all of a sudden continuation, bull run on. So this is what I'm really looking forward to. Is Bitcoin going sideways? Whether the range is small and tight like this or big and wide like this, at the end of the day, altcoins will take full advantage of all of that, and obviously they will dip hard if Bitcoin comes down. Okay, so we got to understand that. Look what's been happening to altcoins in the last little while, and Bitcoin barely dipped, guys. The reality is Bitcoin came down 2%. And some of these altcoins are down 10% plus. So this is what we have to understand. A 25% dip, more or less, on average on Bitcoin equates to about an 80% dip on alts. And we will be buying into that fire sale 100%. All right, guys, let's move on. Let's take a look at Octaspace. You know, guys, Octa is one of those projects that I'm really interested in. Of course, I bought in quite early. I like I DCA on those bottoms. I have those convictions based on my deep dives. If you want to know a little bit more about Octaspace, of course, I do have a deep dive readily available for you. I did one last summer. The data is still valid because ultimately we're in a bear market. We were in a bear market. We're potentially still in a bear market until we get those confirmation lows. I'm still in that accumulation mindset, right? So feel free to dig around here. I got lots of good deep dives on many projects. I release one every Sunday. So if you want to be a part of that, join the Discord and let me know which projects you're interested in, and I'll definitely consider them for the next deep dive in fact, you could vote on the next deep dive. All right, let's continue. We have Octa. Okay, Octa's looking good. It broke out finally. You know, that this is something that I was very, very patient with. You know, DCAing all into here. I bought into here. You know, yellow box, buy. The yellow boxes kind of give me that indication that this could be the last opportunity before a nice spring off of backtest. And that's pretty much it. It's a higher low, a confirmation low. Then we got that nice huge rally up, a nice red arrow suggesting take some profit, de-risk. And guess what? That worked out absolutely great. Then we start coming down and we start looking for weakness. Now, as we were trekking to the downside, we consolidated quite a bit to the point that we filled up the volume gap. The weak spot in the chart was filled up by all this price action. So the reality is it's no longer such a weak spot. So we got to consider that fact. But the reality is we're also looking for a full reset of momentum so that we can scale back in, because taking profits reduces your position size and therefore your exposure to volatility is limited. Now you have choices once you take these profits. Obviously, you're not exiting your entire position. I would always recommend, especially going forward, to leave at minimum 50% of your bag for long-term holds. Guys, we're in a potential bull run here, and the last thing you want to do is exit your positions and see this thing continue running. However, upon the retracement, we see that we've backtested a lot of the market participation here, which is our biggest level of horizontal support. Now, all of a sudden, we got that bounce really nicely. We broke above previous highs. Very nice. Higher high, and the trend is your friend. Higher highs, higher lows, the trend is your friend. Now, the question is, do we continue with this trajectory? Do we continue looking super bullish and getting to higher extension levels? The reality is the market did front run here, the profit taking. We barely got even close enough. I'm trying to make this a little bit more accurate so we can, you know, put some more validity on it. Whereas the bottom of this Fibonacci all the way down here? No, let's do something like that. Okay, so we hit the 1.618 perfectly on this swing high to swing low, pretty accurately. In fact, you know, let's make it a little bit better. There, right here is the 1.27. Beautiful touch. We'll bring this down. Sorry, we'll bring the horizontal down right about here. And we'll say, you know, the 1.27 is the extension level zone that I always will look out for. So perfect touch, 1.27. Now, all of a sudden, we're potentially getting into a consolidation, guys. That would be absolutely perfect to see a consolidation. Now, some may argue it does represent a cup and handle. Now, the sentiment behind the cup and handle is very important. You get a nice recovery, nice, you know, bullish divergence potentially right here. Lower lows on the price action, but we didn't really get a bullish divergence on the R side. We got it on the MACD. The momentum it basically suggests the strength of the trend, you know, deviated right here. We got higher lows on the MACD and then the follow through on the MACD, so which is really good. But that class A bullish divergence right now is suggesting, look, we got the follow through. Now what? People are going to want to take profits. People were very, very patient here at the bottom of the range, accumulating. Now hitting the 1.27 suggests that we could get into that profit taking zone, and there could be a lot of people offloading or distributing, and then if that were to be the case, would get into some sort of bull flag. Now, ultimately, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know if we're going to get that bull flag. We could even go up for one more leg and hit this 1.618 extension level. Let's make this a little bit better because, you know, obviously, the extension level is right here. Let's make that a bit more clear. We can hit that 1.618 really, really good, really hard, and then definitely take some more profit at that level. But what I would be doing, especially if you're in a good entry at the current moment, such as here, or even lower where we got in on this channel when I've been talking about Octa, you know, really what you're looking for is an entry where you can get some support, where you can build a bit of confidence. Right now, the momentum and the RSI and the MACD are not giving you any edge here on the daily. And obviously, the price action, it's a bit kind of wonky. Got rejected, you know, quick railroad track type of scenario, bearish engulfing candle on the daily. And then all of a sudden, it looks like we're going to eat it all back up, perhaps, or just consolidate. So we got to be patient here. No cup and handle, maybe. Sentiment-wise, is definitely there. After a nice rounded cup, you get a consolidation at the previous high, and you consolidate for a bull flag, and then you get that breakout. Yes, we're above it, I get it, but the sentiment is still there. Impulsive move, consolidation, bull flag, continuation. That's basically what we're looking for here. So don't get hung up on the accuracy of the patterns all the time. Patterns are meant to make things simple, And obviously, sometimes simplicity gives you the opportunity to ignore the reality of things. Sometimes things are not as simple in black and white. So read this as a language and read what the market is trying to tell you. Obviously, consolidation and then continuation. Let's take a look at the 4-hour, which is potentially a lot more actionable. You can see that we're potentially rolling over here. We got a bit of divergence from this top to this top, right? You can see the 4 hours getting class A bearish divergence right here, and you can see the RSI is definitely downward sloping. You got a bit of follow through already. Do we invalidate this bearish divergence? It could be possible, but the way things are looking, it could suggest that, you know, we can consolidate, at least get into a symmetrical triangle for a little bit and then look for the breakout. The MACD right now is not really giving me too much of an edge because it does look like it's trying to get another EMA cross like we did here in the past, but until we get a nice little green histogram bar right at this level, I'm not so convinced. We could definitely open up again and continue coming down. So this is why trying to front run the MACD is not the greatest idea. Wait for the confirmations on the MACD. The RSI, you know, looks like maybe we're getting a confirmation high, a lower high here after a bearish divergence, and getting this lower high and then breaking this low right here. Let's remove the fibs for a second because I already marked down what I needed. Let's zoom in, and if we kind of come down and make a lower low right here, lower lows, lower highs, the trend is your friend. This could be a 3-wave structure retracement where we start coming down, potentially down to about 87 cents, maybe as low as 80 cents. It could happen, guys. And we got the tops right here to act as support. We got the top of this volume gap to act as support. You can see the empty zone right into there. Right, as you ignore more price action, you just look at this consolidation. There's an empty little zone here, but if you include more, you got this whole consolidation that basically filled it up. But you can't negate the fact that we're going to try to hold support at least at about 95, and at worst case come down a little bit lower. So what I'm going to be doing here, if I'm going to be looking for a long position, is wait for the consolidation. If you wait for this consolidation to build, whether it be a symmetrical triangle, ascending, or whatever it is, you're going to wait for the consolidation, find a good level of invalidation, and build a position and put the stop loss right underneath invalidation, especially if it starts to look like a Bart Simpson pattern. If the consolidation is nice and flat like a stable coin, what you really have to understand is that we could get a quick retracement to the downside, so that therefore you can put a stop loss right underneath the consolidation and build a position for a long. The likelihood is, after an impulsive move like this, that we continue. With the signs of bearish divergence on the RSI, we really need to get overbought again with some extreme strength and interest in order to invalidate the bearish divergence. Now, we do see a bit of volume here on the volume bars. You can see the histogram bars are definitely growing and getting a bit stronger here. We do get a little bit right here. You can see a little bit. So there's a bit of market participation in the zone. I'm expecting Octaspace to continue. Now, what happens if Bitcoin continues showing weakness? It's likely that eventually Octa either goes sideways, neutralizing, you know, the negativity that Bitcoin brings. Look at the volume, guys, right into here. A nice good amount of volume in this move, right? In comparison to down here, or, you know, we want to kind of reclaim this type of volume, obviously. But if Bitcoin comes down and Octaspace goes sideways, guys, it is basically neutralizing the bearish momentum in the market. That is a really good sign of strength. If it is going sideways, you can imagine what's going to happen once Bitcoin finds its bottom and the confidence comes back into crypto, where people expect Bitcoin to continue moving up. What do you think is going to happen to Octa? It's very likely that this bull flag is going to really spring to the upside with some strength, because neutralizing bearish momentum when Bitcoin's coming down is definitely a sign of strength. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, you know what you got to do. You got to slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. I'm going to be live tonight at 7:30 Eastern talking about crypto news and price action. If you have any projects you want me to cover on the live stream, feel free to let me know in the chat. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description below. And of course, guys, join that Discord. The Discord's where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.